Welcome to Namaste Today, a cosmic way to begin your day. I'm your heartfelt host and the sensei to serious joy, Christopher Witecki. And this audio blogcast is for Friday. Thank Goddess it's Friday. Friday, June 9th, 2017. Welcome to the weekend. Namaste. As you wake up today, you wake up to a full moon apex. Today in our zodiac weather, I'll talk about the full moon and some emotional maturing that you may have to undergo this evening. Then later in your tea time, I have some jolly good news. Jupiter is finally direct. I'll have the details for all 12 signs a little bit later. But first, let's take a look at today's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Friday, June 9, 2017. And my global forecast for planet Gaia is sunny and transforming today. Step 19 rules the day, and a full moon separates the past from the future. Let's take a look at the planets. Today promises to be a transformative day. It begins by waking up to a full moon. Early this morning, around 3 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific, the moon will apex under Step 18 Gemini. That means that we'll come to a final head or a final closure about what our heart wants to commit to and act on, and the full moon is an emotional release and an allowance for you to go to the next level. Now, what it means in simple, practical terms is you might wake up a little moody. So let's be careful out there when we're driving to work or doing anything in the morning, because technically the danger zone of the moon, where things could go too far, would be the morning. But it's not there shortly after that we then move into Step 19, and the moon continues to climb up through the final degrees of Sagittarius. Step 19 will be the ruling step until Saturday morning, and this is a manifestation step. So you'll be literally putting into motion whatever it is that you have committed to acting on, or whatever plans you've decided to go forward with. As you move forward, the moon continues to climb in the degrees of Sagittarius and will cross Saturn later in the late afternoon, early evening, depending on where you are in the country and world. And when the moon crosses Saturn, this will be an emotional maturing point. So it's almost like you'll be so busy trying to put your life into motion all day long and move forward with all of your plans. And then at the end of the night, finally emotionally, you'll put your hands on your hips and say, wow, I guess I actually did that. It actually worked, so there's an emotional maturing. There may also be an emotional maturing in the sense that you are still operating under old kind of emotional rules, and you catch yourself kind of being your old self emotionally, and you realize, hey, life has changed. I'm changing directions. I don't need to be this emotional self anymore. But that emotional maturing, which happens later in the day, that's the last real drama for the whole weekend. In fact, from this casting forward, we now move into a new chapter. And in the last 24 hours, and with this full moon in Sagittarius, it has been some sort of understanding of how far you have come in your personal story and where you intend for your personal story to go next. So you could say Friday to Saturday is the end of emotional chapter 1, or perhaps act 1 of the story you were born to live. And as we move to the weekend, you're now moving to the potential and the future. You'll also be focusing on the real now. In fact, much of what later Friday night through the weekend is really opening up to two new realities. Both Venus and Mars are actually in harmonious step right now. Today on Friday, Venus is at Step 3 Taurus, which means we're opening up to a new reality. We're opening up to a new way of how it may come together. We're being asked to open up to new ways it could manifest, or other options that we can manifest here at the last moment. We've been working on manifestation since late April, but only now are we really ready to receive some of the results of our work. And in some regards, you'll find that you have to open up. It won't be something that's necessarily natural. And over the weekend, you will open up to some sort of breakthrough realization about what you're manifesting, because Venus will move to Step 4. So basically, after clearing this first act of the story you were born to live, you now move on to open up to Act 2 and open up to where the stage and the location of Act 2 will be with Venus and Taurus. Likely with a surprise or a breakthrough over the weekend. You might have thought that the production would happen at this theater, but you may find out over the weekend, oh no, I guess we're going to have to book it over at that theater. The other interesting thing opening up is your feelings. We now move into an uncomfortable emotional zone. In other words, I believe most humans who are alive right now have faced most of their core past life issues, and now we're moving on to uncharted territory. What happens to the hero once it gets past the big dragon? All right. And so emotionally, although this is a good thing, you might feel very emotionally uncertain. So as you open up to new possibilities of manifestation, you're also opening up to new feelings that you have probably not had before, and that might make you a little emotionally cranky. In fact, when Mars does go to step 4 over the weekend, which will happen late on Saturday evening, you might have a bit of an emotional breakdown followed by a breakthrough. So be conscientious. Emotions will be super sensitive as of Saturday night. But in the whole big picture of it, the universe is saying, all right, this weekend we are at the end of Act 1. We are now opening up to the beginnings of Act 2. It's time to emotionally grow up, and it's time to see what's next and in store for us. So to give you a quick little weekend forecast, on Friday you decide an act. From Friday to Saturday you're manifesting. And on Sunday, emotions might be a little sensitive. You might feel a little vulnerable because you're going to start to feel your story speeding up. Now, with all that said, there's one planet I did not mention in the zodiac weather, and that is Jumpin' Jupiter. Jupiter, as of Friday, is finally direct in Libra and will continue through Libra direct all the way till when it gets into Scorpio, which will be October 11th, 2017. And this means in this new act, or Act 2 of the story you were born to live, you're now going to have an expansion of the Libra consciousness, and it's going to be us moving forward now with one of the stories that's been on hold since February. And that is the topic of our tea time, folks. So go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our weekend tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is Jumpin' Jupiter. Jupiter is direct. Now, Jupiter is currently transiting the sign of Libra, if you don't know. Jupiter entered Libra on September 10th of 2016. Jupiter has a once every 12-year orbit around the sun, so every 12 years we hit a sign again. So this recent Jupiter into Libra was the latest it has happened for 12 years. In fact, the last time Jupiter was in Libra going direct for the final time was actually in June 2005 till October 2005. So you might jot that down, June 2005 to October 2005, and get an idea of what was going on in your life and what was expanding and how things were expanding. Before that, incidentally, it was June 1993 to November 1993. Now, I have actually done this mapping out. In each case, Jupiter in Libra has been the discovery of my voice. In fact, in 1993, that's when I transferred to the University of Southern California to begin my career in directing film. So I was inspired to go expand my authorship and my voice and go out there and try to make film. 12 years later, in June 2005, that's actually when I conceived Soul Horoscopes and began for the first time practicing on camera the delivery of a video horoscope for all 12 signs. So I developed my voice at that time too. And I am happy to say that right now, in this latest rendition of Jupiter in Libra, I am releasing Sirius Joy 2.0, which is the latest incarnation of my voice, artificially intuitive software that helps me guide my clients. So I can see clear progression in my own personal life of how Jupiter in Libra has affected me every 12 years. What I'll also share with you is that Jupiter in Libra for me hits me according to my rising sign, which is Leo, in the 3rd house of intellect. So you'll notice when it comes to Jupiter transits that, particularly in hindsight, you'll have a lot more clarity of the story playing out in your B story or your rising sign than you may see in your A story or sun sign. But I have to say, I also see, looking at where Jupiter was for me as a Taurus, how it played out in each of these sort of eras. Now, Jupiter going direct in Libra is a very good thing. What this is on a global scale is that the universe is investing in justice and fairness. So I think it's very interesting that there's all this looking into with Russia investigations and, you know, all these different exams of President Trump. I mean, we're looking for justice right now as a society. We're looking for fairness. And so this is the buildup of sort of that. And we're going to learn between now and October, when Jupiter goes into Scorpio, every human being is going to come up with a new definition of what's fair or what's not. You may find that the world is not fair, but you will determine what would be fair to you. Jupiter in Libra will also mean sort of an explosion of the arts. There's probably a lot of artists who are ready to go forward with some sort of great creation. This will be an explosion of people hooking up, people meeting each other, people getting married. So we'll see a lot of unions come into play as Jupiter goes direct. And overall, we're going to see a new self-mastery because Jupiter and Libra together is the expansion also of our relationship to ourself. And this is one of those times where by the end of this transit, in other words, by October, you'll look in the mirror and you'll see someone else. You will see a new you. You'll see a new balanced you. And it's from this balanced perspective with Jupiter in Libra that we dare disturb the balance and change the boundaries with Jupiter in Scorpio. So right after this smoothing out, we're all ready to get a little rough again. It's just funny how the universe works out that way. So I want to talk about, with that perspective in mind, where each of the 12 signs are now going to continue expanding. From September until it went retrograde early here in 2017, which was February 6th, Jupiter in Libra was doing a lot of destruction. So wherever it is I bring it for your sign, realize that the first thing that Jupiter usually does is kind of tear old things down, completely show you how much you don't know, okay? Often create crises that you have to face, which forces you to grow. So the first leg, which we live from September to February, is the hardest leg. Since February, Jupiter has been retrograde, which means we've been kind of hemming and hawing and not too sure and I don't know and geez. And as of Friday, June 9th, Jupiter is direct again in Libra, and we're ready now to move forward with this story. Jupiter is also, I'll lastly say, where unexpected fortune just, comes out of the sky. It's like you may have a dump truck roll over your car and have your car smashed, like not with you in it, but like, you know what I mean? But then from that weird experience, you get a brand new car. And the universe just pays for it. So like Jupiter is like the elephant in the china shop. It may break a lot of china, but it'll restore it with better china. So it's like, oh, thanks. So we're now ready for the restoration part is what I'm getting at. And if you recall to those last dates too, 2005 and 93, you might start to put all the pieces together. So I suggest I'm going to just talk real quickly for each of the 12 signs. This is my little weekend gift to you, something to ponder. And I would definitely, if I were you, follow this for your sun sign and also your rising sign, because we're at one of those fated moments now where both stories are changing and working together. All right? So without further ado, let's begin with the young sign of Aries. And when I say young, of course, I mean the perpetual inner child. Aries since September have been having some issues with, Jupiter in Libra means breaking down relationships, breaking down marriage partnership, breaking down what you think marriage partnership can be, will be, should be. And I've known a few Aries right now, just been tracking their love stories. It has been a little crazy back and forth. Well, now that Jupiter is direct, you're now going to move forward and probably settle your long-term relationships. This includes business partnerships, best friends forever, okay? And you may still have the introduction, if you're a single Aries, of a relationship. a lot of this clearing had to be done in the first stretch of Jupiter to leave room for true relationships and true self-mastery. And that's the other side for Aries. Self-mastery is possible between now and October. Self-mastery means you finally get how you work and you make it work. Taurus, you have been expanding health and daily lifestyle since Jupiter went in. In fact, Jupiter went to Libra, boom, I got pneumonia and went in the hospital, folks, and I'm a Taurus. So it's like, boom, Jupiter played no games. But of course, they came out just fine. It was just that whole clear out your life thing. Now for Taurus, you have broken down and rebuilt. It's now time to build the perfect lifestyle with Jupiter and to aim for what you want to be eaten. So Taurus, you're hard workers. I'm talking to myself here. You want to create a workspace that's just divine because you're going to be probably in this workspace for 12 years. Geminis, you are actually now moving forward with your love stories. So Geminis who are artists, who are ready for love, who are ready to manifest personal dreams, that story now moves forward, okay, and continues expanding and growing all the way through October. Geminis will definitely be finding their twin if they don't have it already. Cancer, you are expanding something very dear to you, which has been your own emotions. In fact, Cancer spends so much time nurturing other people, they quite often don't pay attention to their own emotional needs and don't want to be, quote, trouble to anyone. Well, Cancers have been called to emotionally nurture, and you are expanding what you define as a family, you're expanding what you define as a home, and you're expanding your family dynamics. You're outgrowing your childhood ways in a way, or whatever goes back to childhood, and finally finding new emotional territory. The Leos, you are focused on message. That was my Leo rising that I was talking about that echoed through the time. And Leos are finding their voice, finding their message, clearing up mental health issues, creating new connections to others. And if you are a Leo messenger like myself, you'll be coming into your final message or your attitude to take. So any Leo authors out there may in this Jupiter direct finally download something that they really want to put out in the world. Virgos, you are expanding self-confidence. So real big self-confidence breakers for Virgos last fall right after their birthday. It's like their birthday and the universe just punched them in the face with self-confidence stuff. So you had a hard time. And I'm not laughing because it was good. I'm just thinking it's funny and wonk, sort of Virgo sort of story. But that's all turning around, Virgo, because now that Jupiter is direct in Libra, it's now time to take that confidence that you have fairly earned and go get what you're worth. So Virgos are going to get paid. They actually have the most money tied to this Jupiter direct. Libras, who are the most affected with Jupiter in their sign, have been forced to grow out of their ego. And a lot of their egos is tied to the way they're in relationships. So they had to do a lot of releasing of old relationship patterns in order to get into their ego. So the first 6 months was brutal for them. But now you're going to get your stride, Libra, as we go direct, and you're going to discover your strength. You're going to discover maybe some talent that you didn't realize you had because you didn't give yourself the chance before. Scorpios, tough one for Jupiter and Libra because expanding faith. So last fall, tons of fear, tons of faith, tons of can it work out for me? Very hard for the Scorpios. But now you have found your faith with Jupiter going direct, and now you get to borrow against your faith, which means your heart will want something, and you'll use that faith to go, well, I'm going to try. Sagittariuses, you are expanding your role in the world. So Sagittarius had always seen themselves at a certain role, maybe playing a certain role, maybe a certain circle of friends, certain social world, particular title. You're a mommy, you're single, you're divorced. Those titles kind of change. And Sagittarius are also going through a Saturn transit, which is doubly hard. But now Sagittarius are going to find their place in the world, as will Sag risings. You're going to find that sweet spot, that title, and you'll probably stay there for 12 years. Capricorns, you've been expanding one of your favorites, your career. Capricorns love their career, so probably a lot of career breakdowns and dead ends and, drop floors, A lot of things fell out last fall when Jupiter was first direct. But now that it's direct, you're going to see a lot of career plans come together. You're going to see relationships around your career come together. You're going to see parenting desires come together. And you're going to be in a place to truly lead your career now and move forward. Aquariuses, you've been expanding your beliefs. And so this is a kind of private journey, but Aquariuses have been trying to wonder, like, why am I here? What's my purpose? What am I doing? You know, like, and so the first 6 months was a lot of that, questioning everything that you believe. But now you have a chestnut that you believe in, and you're going to carry that belief into theory and into knowing and into life purpose. So by October, you are sharp with what your purpose is, and you are clear for where you're headed. Pisces, you are expanding when it comes to trust. So Pisces had a lot of Pisces I talked to was dealing with infidelity issues, trust issues, betrayal, secrets, all sorts of dark stuff. It's 8th house. And I would say that first part of the transit was very dark for them. But now with Jupiter direct, you're going to move forward with that trust in yourself. You're going to probably connect intimacy and closeness on a level you have not experienced before. And you're probably going to transform yourself as a result into a new fishbowl or a new version of yourself. So for all 12 signs, I think this is very positive. You know, despite the politics and things that have been going on in the global world and the uncertainty, the truth is with the North Node in Leo and Jupiter direct in Libra, we are in a creative honeymoon period. Instead of scratching your head, move forward, my friend. Move forward to level the playing ground, to find that justice you're looking for, to find that equal partner you're looking for, to find these beautiful, artistic, balanced, and harmonic parts of life. Like, discover what harmony is. Because looking up into 2018, it's going to be this vision of harmony that allows us to keep our harmony when things start to get a little rough and intense. So this is an important seed to plant. Take your moment now and move forward with whatever direction I was describing for your sun sign or your rising. All right, friends. Well, it's such a pleasure to be of soul service. Remember, I have a personal sensei service that if you haven't tried, will blow your mind. I'm very good at taking your date of birth and sending you the right text message at the right time, plus an online interactive app where you can see your whole day ahead of time. Come check it out for just $3.99 at SeriousJoy.com. Have a great weekend, my friends. I'll be back on Monday with more. Until then, remember I love you, and to live, love, be.
Live, love,